What is going on, traders? In this video I'm going to give you guys 5 stocks that I think is going to go absolutely insane in the near future and why you should trade them. I'm also going to go over my thoughts on the market heading into this week, but before we get into that, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So in my last few videos, actually, I told you guys, and even in the thumbnail, I let you guys know that I am expecting a dump and pump scenario, and so far it looks like that's exactly what's happening. We look at the NQ. The NQ is pretty much the only thing that's bothering me, but as far as everything else looks pretty solid. We got our dump scenario, and then Fridays or near Friday's close, we started to get somewhat of a pump scenario. So the next question is, does this continue into tomorrow? Well, what do we know about Mondays? We know that Mondays usually mirror Fridays. Now, considering that Friday, or at least a good portion of Friday, was bearish, I have to assume that potentially the same thing can happen on Monday, where we see a little bit of downside, and maybe towards close we start to see that pump scenario start to kick in, and then we start seeing more upside heading into the rest of the week. It's also important to note that Nvidia does have a split coming up, so that could motivate the market to continue to push higher. Now, my issues here is obviously with the NASDAQ, like I mentioned before. Right now, we're still below key levels here. And that key level here is around 18,630 and 18,680, 670, give or take. Why? We zoom out, we rejected here, rejection, 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 bounce, bounce, bounce. You guys get the idea, right? And even here, we zoom in, we see that we're rejecting even here on the NQ. So a potential scenario that we could be looking at, if not during the after hours, maybe open tomorrow, where we see maybe one more drop to the downside, and then we start to see that bounce come in. All right. Now, I would love for us to, continue to see more upside, but I try my best not to be biased in the market, and I just go with whatever the market gives me. So we could just easily break higher. One thing to know about the NASDAQ and the triple Qs is they tend to lag about behind each other. If one is taking off, then potentially the other one may take off a little bit later, or maybe the next day, meaning that eventually the NASDAQ could catch up with the triple Qs, because what we saw with the triple Qs is that it broke back above this 450 level, and it broke back above our key level here of 446.8, 447. And then it broke even higher and closed above 450. So we could be looking at a scenario where the NASDAQ eventually starts to catch up with NQ, and we see one of these moves heading into tomorrow where we break, retest, and then potentially head higher. Now, that is on the table. Or we have one more drop towards 447 range on the triple Qs, and then we start to head higher. So those are your two scenarios we are looking at. So I wouldn't be quick to jump the gun as far as trading into tomorrow until we see the NASDAQ catch up with the triple Qs, or we see that last drop before we start to bounce higher. Again, I still believe that we are looking at a dump and pump scenario, and I think the pump scenario is very close by. We already got our dump. We may get one more, and then we get that actual another rally to new highs. All right, so I truly do believe that, at least heading into Nvidia split, and then after that it's going to be really tough to say, but we'll see how the market looks at that point. Now, we go to the daily time frame here on the NASDAQ. We have us a potential inverse head and shoulders. Now, me personally, I'm not a fan of this wick being a shoulder, which is why I think there is potential for more downside heading into tomorrow. Again, Mondays usually mirror Fridays. A majority of Friday was bearish, right? So we could get one more candle to the downside, and then we see that move up. All right, so I will be patient heading into tomorrow, or at least pay attention to what happens during after hours. We got like one more hour before the futures market actually opens, and maybe we get one more candle actually giving us another decent shoulder. And again, the neck, this is not the cleanest of head and shoulders, I would say. Reason being is that the neckline is not really clear. Sure, we can say right here at around 18,680, 18,710 could be your neckline, but then you get up here and it just gets weird. All right, so I wouldn't really count on this being an actual inverse head and shoulders until we get maybe another better actual candle here versus a wick, and we start to break previous highs around 19K. So that's my thoughts as far as NQ. As far as downside goes, you want to see us hold above 18,100. The lowest you're looking at is about 17,990. You break below that, then you get pretty illiquid on the NQs. All right, you get really illiquid. There's a gap around here in this area as well, so we could drop pretty fast. I don't think that's going to happen, at least in the near future. So I think personally, and this is me not really being biased, but I just don't see it happening given with how we closed on Friday. But I could be wrong, but those are the key levels that you should be looking out for on NQ. ES. So ES looks a lot better here. I mean, you got your shoulder over here, you got your head here, another shoulder here, and then you have your falling wedge patterns forming on the daily. All right. Now, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, as you guys can see, we're pretty much in this trend. So again, there is potential for us to have one more dip in the market before we see more upside, because we closed within this trend or within this falling wedge. So we could see a move like this where we retest 5220, 5200s range, and then we start to bounce and head higher, or we just consolidate Monday. I mean, Mondays usually are the most boring day in the market, where we do one of these moves and then we finally bounce higher. So there is potential for that. So me personally, I would wait for at least 30 minutes into the open to see what the market decides to do heading into tomorrow, and then go from there. But overall, looks very clean. I mean, it still looks bullish to me. All right, it still looks bullish. We zoom out, we see that we are pretty much at our, or not pretty much at our daily trend, but we're pretty close to it. All right, right here we bounced here multiple times, and even here we attempted to retest it. We didn't quite touch it. So there is again potential for maybe one more move to the downside, and then we start to head higher, where we pretty much reject here, maybe bounce from about 5200 one more time, and then we start to head higher. All right, so that's really what I have as far as the ES. Your key level here is 5200. Next after that, you're looking at 5180 as far as upside. You want to see us get back above 5300 as far as potential bullish movement, and then after 5300, you're pretty much want to see a move above 5330. And then after that, we're looking at potential highs all over again, or newer highs all over again. So that is my thoughts as far as ES. SPY, you're pretty much looking at the same thing. SPY looks really good here. I mean, I really don't have anything negative to say here. What I will say is that it looks like the SPY could go to 529 at open. All right, so our key level here on SPY, I've told you guys about this multiple times, was 525. Everyone was saying 524. I like 525 because 525 is our psych level, and that's the safest, that's the more safe level in my opinion. We rejected here, rejected here, rejected here. Let's actually go to the 4-hour time frame. So we rejected multiple times in this area at around 525. 523.8. So rejection, 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 rejection. You guys get the idea, right? And then even here we consolidated, we bounced, and then we bounced all the way from 520. And I told you guys in the previous videos, or at least 2 videos ago, that I don't see us going much lower than 520. I've said this multiple times. Feel free to check yourself. I said I think we're going to get a bounce off 520. And would you look at that? Very, very clean. The levels do not lie, guys. Indicators may lie, but the levels do not lie. We rejected here, rejection, bounce, bounce. So very, very tough level. And even here, we consolidated above this 520 level. There is a lot of there's just a lot of buyers here in this area, and I imagine they obviously did step in at this area here. So 520. After 520, we pretty much broke above 525, 526 range, and we closed above that. So that leads me to believe that we could be seeing more upside. 529, 530 is your next tough level that you want to be looking out for, where we can either continue higher, maybe even gap up, or we reject here, and maybe Monday, considering that Mondays are usually very low volume type days, we can just consolidate in this area and then maybe wait on news and potentially head higher from there. All right, so those are the moves that I'm looking for. Your key levels, again, 520. You want to see us hold, as long as we're holding above 520, I'm pretty bullish on the SPY. 525, 527. Next key level we're looking at is about 529, 530. After that, you want to see a move above 534, 535 psych level, and then after that we're pretty much in Narnia, and we can be just in price discovery mode. There's a lot of space up here. I mentioned this multiple times. I even said this before. SPY can go as high as 550, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but again, SPY can go as high as 550. All right, I'm pretty. I've been called crazier for other levels, and they actually hit. All right, people were saying I was crazy for 460 level on triple Qs, and we hit that right on the dot like 2 days later. All right, so that's what I'm looking at as far as the SPY triple Qs. All right, so triple Qs, same thing. I mean, it pretty much rejected this level here at around 445. I mean, it got as low as about 443, and then it pretty much went right back above. Rejection here, rejection here, rejection here, rejection, rejection. You get that? You get the idea. All right. So we broke back above, and we closed at 450. That is very, very good that bears have stepped. I mean, not bears, but bulls have stepped in very strong. They're making a statement here, and I imagine that if anything, if we don't see that drop tomorrow or even after hours, then I imagine bears have given up. They just gave up, and chances are we're just going to head to newer highs. All right. So that's my thoughts as far as the triple Qs. Key level here is 455.5, 456. You want to see us get above that area, and then after that, you're pretty much heading to 460. Again, I keep saying in multiple videos that every time we drop, there's a chance that we're just making more room for newer highs. All right. We rejected this trend up here. We got close to rejecting it, and it looks like we're just creating more space for more highs. What do I mean by that? So when we got up here, we didn't really have much space to continue higher, so we pretty much rejected to the downside, and we did it pretty aggressively, right? So chances are, if the Qs wants to go higher, we have more space now. We have more room to at least 470, and I told you guys one of my price targets was 465, right along with 460. But now 470 is on the table. Look at all this space up here. So again, I know it sounds crazy, but I've been told I've been crazy for other levels, all right? And we've hit every single level so far. So be on the lookout for that as far as triple Qs. Now, let's get into the stocks, all right? The stocks that, oh my gosh, guys, I got some beauties for you. So first stock I'm looking at is Apple. Now, we are already in Apple in the Discord. We are in July 19th calls, 200 strike calls for July 19th. I absolutely love how Apple is looking. Now, if we paid attention to what happened on Friday, the market, or not even just Friday, Thursday and Friday, the market was just dropping, and Apple was just not having it. It tried to drop, right, but it rejected this key level here. I mean, multiple times you see this level hit, and right here, around 188, 187 range, and then 186.5. We bounced here. We broke through, of course. We came back up. We rejected, broke through again. So this level has been acting not only as resistance and support, but it's been acting as a magnet. All right, we keep coming back up here, and eventually we did leave it, and then now we're back up here again, and then we rejected here. We bounced here, we bounced again, all right? And this was while the market was dropping as well, and Apple continued to hold its ground. So we got into calls at around 190.8, 190.5, and since then, we've been in profit. So again, we're in those 200 call contracts for July 19th. Check them out. But Apple looks absolutely amazing. Not only that, but it did get a price target upgrade to 230, and I think if not by earnings, maybe after earnings, Apple can really make a huge move. Now, Apple does have a history of running up until its earnings, and their earnings is not all the way until July. All right, so we have plenty of time for that. So I'm not expecting Apple to just rally all the way up until July. That's like a month and a half from now. But again, those contracts, pay attention to those contracts. Check them out. Very, very solid contract across the board. So right now we're in profit. We're in a decent amount of profit. Nothing too crazy. I think I'm up like $180 on the thing. So I will keep you guys updated on this. But if this isn't enough, right? If this is not enough, let's go to our daily time frame. And let's zoom out. No, actually, it's not the daily. Let's go to the weekly time frame. All right. What do you see? We have us a double bottom, a potential double bottom. And the reason why I say potential, if you've been following my channel, double bottoms and double tops are not confirmed until the neckline is broken. And right now, our neckline is at 200. All right, 200. If Apple breaks and holds above 200, guys, fasten your seatbelts, get the dog, get the kids, leave your girlfriend. We're going to the moon. All right. Apple is going to go absolutely parabolic if we get above 200 and we actually hold double bottom. If that's not enough for you, right? You're like, all right, I need one more. I just need one more bit of confirmation before I decide to get into Apple trade, right? Monthly time frame. It looks better on the monthly in my opinion. Double bottom on the monthly time frame. So I mean, another reason why I took those July contracts. Absolutely beautiful. Potential double bottom here on the monthly time frame. I mean, we zoom out, you can see I'm not making this up. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. Not only that, but we rejected this monthly support over here. Where is it? So we rejected this monthly support over here at around 180, and right now we have us a morning star pattern. All right, we have us a morning star pattern. All right, so feel free to look that up, but this is it doesn't get any better than this. Okay, it just doesn't. I mean, it can get better if we break this neckline at 200, but right now this is the best opportunity in my opinion to jump into Apple. That's just me. Do what you want with this information, but I absolutely love how Apple is looking. I can't gas this thing enough. It just looks absolutely diabolical. Okay, and if Friday and Thursday is reaction to Friday and Thursday and how we just dropped, and it really did not drop at all. It just pretty much held its ground at around 190. I don't know what else is. Now, as far as downside goes, just in case, because I'm not a genie or I can't tell the future or anything. By all means, some news can come in and Apple just plummets and gives all this up. You want to see Apple hold above 186.8. It gives up 186.8, then you're looking at your psych level of 185, and then after that, it gives up 185, then Apple is pretty much done. All right, but as long as it stays above that, it looks great. Okay, you can count 190 as your psych level as well, but as long as it stays above that, it looks great. I think Apple is going to see 195 this week, and then after that, we'll have to see what happens. But again, pay attention. Mark these levels on your chart. Mark that 200 level on your chart. Mark this. Go to your weekly time frame. Mark this potential double bottom here. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. If this doesn't give you butterflies, I don't know what will. Next stock, Amazon. I am standing on this hill when I say Amazon is due. Now, I mentioned Amazon in another video, in like another 5-stock video, and 4 stocks took off in that video that I mentioned. And Amazon was the only one that just refused to do anything. I still think Amazon is due. I still think Amazon is going to take off soon. And I'm going to give you guys a few reasons. So we look at our daily time frame. As you guys can see, we zoom out. We have a trend here where we bounced here in this area. I thought I marked them, but I didn't. So hopefully you guys can see, right? But we bounced here. And then Friday, we came back down to that 174 level, and we are currently rejecting it, okay? I think Amazon is due here. We jumped into June 21st contracts for 200. And right now we're in profit. We got in at around 174. I think Amazon is going to go absolutely insane. I think Amazon is due for new highs. Feel free to do what you want with that information, but I do think Amazon is due for new highs. We saw on Friday that it bounced and rejected this 174 level. Let's go to our 4-hour time frame. It rejected this 174 level and held. And not only that, but the daily trend I just showed you guys, we broke back above it, and right now we're mounting above it. Okay, right now we're just mounted above this level. I think Amazon looks absolutely amazing. I couldn't ask for a better entry as far as that 174 target. But even if we zoom out, right, and we look here, bulls are tough in this area. Very tough at these 170 area, in the lower 170s area. Look at this. Bulls stepped in immediately at this 174, 170 range. I tell you guys all the time, wicks tell you where sellers and buyers are. It doesn't get better than this, guys. All right? It doesn't get better. Actually, it does get better. Let me show you the monthly. Let me show you guys the monthly. Not too many traders will show you a monthly and weekly time frame, all right? Because they don't pay attention to it, right? We rejected the monthly support level here, all right? We rejected monthly support. I tell you guys all the time, supply and demand zones is king, but that doesn't mean I ignore support and resistance completely. All right. We rejected this monthly support, and then guess where the monthly support was? 174, and we bounced off that 174. Amazon is due. In NVIDIA earnings call, they pretty much were saying that, or they gave a cliffhanger that they are working on a new chip. I think Amazon is waiting on that chip. Amazon pretty much announced that they are waiting to invest into that chip. Feel free to look that up yourself. I think once Nvidia announces that, Amazon is done. It's just gonna fly. All right. Bounced off the monthly level. It's bouncing or is mounting this daily trend. 174. It bounced off 174. Bull stepped in aggressively at 174. You couldn't ask for a better setup here. I mean, it's everything is adding up here. Amazon is due. I think it's going to head towards 200. Maybe by June, maybe not by June, but eventually this thing in the near future, in my belief, is going to, in my opinion, is going to head towards that 200 area. Keep Amazon on your watch list. Mark these levels. Mark that 174 level. If anything, 174 all the way down to 173.8 is your supply and demand zone. Or you can just mark 174 as your monthly level. But I'm telling you now, Amazon is due. That's it. Plain and simple. Next stock, Microsoft. Now, Microsoft is a bit stubborn here, but we go to our, I believe it's at the daily time frame. All right. As you guys can see, we had a huge rejection from that 405, 400 area. All right. Huge rejection here. Bull stepped in immediately here. We have an inverse hammer pattern, reversal pattern. Microsoft is looks like it wants to take off. All right. Your key level here for Microsoft is 421. It gets above 421. I think this thing is going to be absolutely parabolic. It's going to head towards this gap fill at around 425, 426 range. If Microsoft gets above 435 psych level and actually closes, I personally think my price target on that Microsoft is 480. I think Microsoft is going to go absolutely ballistic. We zoom out, we have us a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. I'm not a fan of this wick here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not a fan of it, but if Microsoft does drop, I think a great entry will be around that 410 area. If we get somewhat of a little drop tomorrow, I think 410, between 410 and even 405 is absolutely a beautiful entry in my opinion. All right. Now, if you really want to play it safe, all right, you don't want to jump the gun or anything, I absolutely don't blame you. You go to your 4-hour time frame. You want to see Microsoft get above 420, 421 range. 421 if you really want to be safe. It gets above that, I think you're golden. All right, I think you're absolutely golden. All right, so if Microsoft gets above 421, me personally, I'm going to be looking at calls. I might jump the gun depending on how we open tomorrow. If it gets to 410, I may actually jump the gun and jump into some contracts on Microsoft. But keep an eye on this thing. It looks absolutely. It looks ready. It looks absolutely beautiful. I don't know what Microsoft is waiting on because it's been having a hard time taking off. I don't know what they're waiting on. But I think Microsoft is due, just like the rest of the market. This thing gets above 435. Pack your bags, grab the kids, grab the dog, leave the cats, leave your girlfriend. We're going to the moon, all right? Simple as that. Next stock, AMD. AMD looks absolutely good here, okay? I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I was bothered by NVIDIA, but, I mean, I just can't ignore it, all right? I can't ignore it. AMD is right now is an ascending triangle right now. It rejected this 160 area multiple times. We zoom out, rejection, well, not rejection, bounce, bounce, bounce. Here, you rejected, and then you bounced here as well. So 160, very, very key area. Be on the lookout for this 160 area, or not be on the lookout, but mark this area on your charts. 160, very tough. We rejected or we bounced off of it, and right now we are forming an ascending triangle. Very, very clean. Bounce here, bounce here. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. I think it looks better on the 4. Yeah, there we are. So here, ascending triangle. We bounced here, bounced here, bounced here at this, and we rejected 160. I think AMD is good to go. I do. I genuinely do. Now, if you want to play it safe, you want to wait for AMD to break above 173. You can say 175 if you really want to be safe. After that, you get into very illiquid territory where AMD can just start shooting towards that 185 area. Right here, guys. Right here. Okay, this is acting weird. But right here in this area, very illiquid. If AMD gets above 173, 175 to be safe, your psych level, we're going to 180 pretty easy, 185 pretty easy. Okay, at the highest I'm looking at is 185. Okay, mark this on your charts. Mark that 160 area on your charts. Mark this 174, 174, 175, well, 173, 175 area on your chart, supply and demand zone. And after that, you're looking at a move towards 180, 185. If AMD gives up 160, then things can get pretty ugly. All right, it gives up 160. It's pretty much breaking like multiple supports, and then after that, you're just looking at a retest and then a further breakdown, at least to 150. All right, so that's what I'm looking at as AMD. That's our fourth stock. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, the pattern is there, the setup is there, the levels are there. I can't stress enough. We zoom out, as you guys can see, rejection here, rejection here, rejection here. AMD is due. Okay, AMD is absolutely due for more upside here. All right, beautiful setup. Last stock. This is gonna be crazy. All right, this is gonna throw you guys for a loop. AMC. All right, I'm not a fan of AMC. But it's the setup is here, guys. The setup is here. AMZ looks like it's due. All right, so one, I don't have a lot on AMC because it's just weird. This whole thing right here is weird. But as you guys can see, we are pretty much at this daily trend, and we're pretty much bouncing off of it at around this $4 mark. All right, I think AMC is ready to potentially take off. There was something else I was looking at. Let me see. Oh, the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame, guys. I mean, look at this. We have us an inverted hammer pattern on the monthly. This is a reversal pattern. Let's actually look this up real quick. Inverse hammer pattern, so you guys can get an idea on what it looks like. Yeah, this will work. Boom. Inverted hammer pattern. I mean, look at that. Beautiful, clean, right? We go back to the chart. Looks exactly like it. What do I tell you guys? If it looks like the pattern, assume that it is the pattern until it's not. Right now, we started a new month in June. May ended on this inverted hammer pattern. I think AMC is going to head back to $10. All right, $10 being the minimum. Okay, being the minimum. All right, so be on the lookout for AMC. If you are one of those traders that like to trade AMC or invest into AMC, I think AMC is ready to take off. All right, again, I mean, 1 + 1 = 2, people. Inverted hammer pattern, reversal bullish pattern. This is on the monthly time frame. Monthly. Exactly. I mean, damn near the same. All right, I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, they have earnings coming up. Let me see. Oh, that's in August. Oh yeah, I'm on a monthly time frame. That makes sense. I was like, man, their earnings is pretty close. But yeah, AMC is my last stock. Hopefully you guys got something out this video. Be safe trading. Discord link is in the description below. If you want access to these trades early and you don't want to wait on a video, feel free to click the link in the description. It's only $30 a month. We do stocks, we do crypto, we do Forex, all that fun stuff. Oh, Bitcoin. Let's actually do Bitcoin real quick. Honestly, I don't have much for Bitcoin. This thing looks like it wants to just blow up, and in a good way. This thing looks like it wants to take off. So yeah, that's really all I have for Bitcoin. Bitcoin breaks above 72K. It's going to 75K. It gets above 75K. You're entering new highs all over again. I mean, inverse head and shoulders pattern, ascending triangle. It just looks great. Okay, it just looks absolutely great. So be on the lookout for Bitcoin. Other than that, that's all I have, traders. Until the next video, have a good one.